So behind me you can see that there's about 24 fruit trees growing. You know, you've got about 20 or so apple trees growing in this row over here. Then we've got, you know, some peach and nectarine, and we've got some pear trees over there and some plum trees. And I just wanted to make a quick update video. You know, it's been very dry. It's been a lot drier this spring slash summer than last year. And it's actually been really good for our fruit trees. I've had to water them several times where I'll get up early in the morning or in the evening, you know, and I'll just fill up these 5-gallon buckets and I'll pour them at the base of the trees to really soak them good around the base to keep them alive. I haven't had to water the older trees, you know, the ones that are 1-2 years old, but I've tried to water the 8 new trees that I planted this year pretty frequently during this dry spell. So let me show you a couple of our apple trees. So this one has probably been in the ground for about 2 years or so. You can see it's got some apples growing on it. Kind of exciting. Last year we only got about 1 apple out of our entire orchard. This year we've probably got about 200 or so apples growing in our orchard. And I imagine next year we're probably going to have loads more. Our fruit trees have done a lot better this year because I sprayed them with some organic sprays to, you know, help control insect problems. We haven't had many insect problems. We have had some rust spots on our trees and some, you know, leaf curl disease, and I sprayed some copper spray to prevent leaf curl on our peach and other trees. But you can see these trees are looking quite good this year. This tree is loaded with probably about, I don't know, maybe at least 20 or 30 apples on this tree. So this was the only tree last year that we got any apples from. We got one big beautiful apple from this tree last year, and you can see it's looks like it's producing, you know, some apples here, not a ton, but there's probably a couple dozen apples growing on this tree. Now this tree is doing great. This is a little nectarine tree that we bought for like $12 in the checkout. This guy was probably only 1 or 2 feet tall when we bought it. We put it in the ground, and you can see it's really throwing out a lot of new growth this year. And I don't see really any disease on this tree. It looks like it's quite healthy and doing really, really well. So I'm excited about the nectarine tree. Here's one of the new peach trees we just planted a few months ago. Here's another peach tree we just planted a few months ago, and look at this. It's got a beautiful peach growing on it. Now this peach tree we planted about a year ago. I think it's called the Reliance peach tree, and it seems super healthy. The only thing I'm concerned about is it got a lot of damage from some deer scraping its bark, you know, several months ago. But you can see the bark is healing itself, like it's becoming super thick and strong around the injury there. So I'm hopeful that this tree will survive for several years, enough to produce fruit. Here's a plum tree that's been in the ground about a year. The main stem of this plum tree ended up dying. It got this weird kind of white crusty disease, and so I cut off the dead stem, and you can see this little sucker that was shooting out the side of it is turning into kind of like a bush. I hope it produces plums, but I guess we'll see as time goes on. Now, believe it or not, this is actually a pomegranate tree, a cold hardy pomegranate tree. My brother gave me this, and I think it's from natively in Siberia or something, but you know, it was like bare root. We threw it in the ground. It looked like a stick, but you can see it's starting to throw out leaves, and I'm kind of excited if we can see this through the next 5 years and get some pomegranates out of it. That would be amazing. So this is either a peach or a nectarine tree, and you can see that it's doing pretty well. This tree has looked like it's died multiple times where it's been defoliated from leaf curl disease, but the copper spray I put on it has really helped it to not get leaf curl. Probably also the hot temperatures have probably also helped. Now this pear tree's been in the ground for maybe close to 2 years, and you can see that there's the old neem oil damage on a lot of the leaves, you know, brown spots on the leaves, but it looks like the tree has thrown out some new leaves since I sprayed it with neem oil that don't have any of the spots, and so I bet this tree is going to do just fine, as well as the 3 other pear trees that we have that got hurt from neem oil. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you some of the joy, and I'll give you a quick update on how our orchard's going.